Hello everyone, we are team 4 PIM MBA QATAR 2016 batch. We are here today at the Mercure Grand Doha, state of Qatar. And we are going to introduce you a very special personality and you are going to find out who he is.
Graduated from University of Kelaniya. He is the founder of the Stafford Sri Lankan School Doha and the chairman of Board of Trustees. Founder of Sintam Foundation, dedicated for teaching Sinhala and Tamil languages as mother tongue. Founding member of the Sri Lankan Business Council and the president of Lanka Lions Sports Club in Doha. The group financial controller of the Mercure Group and proudly the founding president of PIM alumni here in Doha.
I'm Chamila Ekanayaka.
And I'm Nishanta Kirihena.
Mr. Kumudu Fonseca, welcome to Team 4 Talk Show. Mr. Fonseca, let's start at the beginning. Tell us about your young age or your school period.
For any person, when you ask about the young age, I think the right time that we still enjoy thinking is the school time. I was not from the front bench of the classroom. I've been everywhere. And I always believe good product can come from all benches. So I always advise, it's not the front bench only the teachers should produce for the society. We should think of every single student which is coming in the school. As a Josephian, I can tell you my own friends we saw them down, but they are now today doing well in society. So I can tell you, young age I enjoyed in school. Then I went to university in Kelaniya, and there I enjoyed life. I had a lot of friends, and most of my learning had been not only in classroom. Even in university I had a lot of learning in canteen to do. In the field of sports I had a lot to learn. How I grew.
It said leaders are not born but made. From memories of your early age, what were the indications that of you becoming a leader?
You know, my father is an inspirator all the time. So both of us always talk things, because he became paralyzed when I was just 14 years old. So I always acquainted with him, and he inspired me to leadership. So he always encouraged me to read books of great leaders, read speeches of great leaders. These are books that I always advise for young people to read. And I was not limited to certain group of people. I was given political leaders to read, religious leaders to read, and I had the itch of taking such steps of learning leadership through reading. So I advise any young man to read about good leaders.
Mr. Fonseca, was there a person as a role model early in your life?
Any young child or anybody for that, I think their first role model is their father. But there are many who orphans have become leaders. They don't have fathers. Then my saying become a myth. It is true, because in our grown life we pass in the period of time many people that you can take them as role models. So I had many. I cannot just pinpoint and say so and so is a role model. As the time passes, we see many good people. Some of the good people become later sometime bad people. So you have to drop them, and you have to inherit from people the best of best qualities. So the life is not about who is your role model. Have you become a role model to others to follow? This is what it's all about. We all should be unique. And I advise any young man or even old to be unique, extraordinary in life. So we have to inherit good qualities of good people. It could be any religion for that. any ethical background, it should be any political background, you can learn from that.
You came to Qatar almost 3 decades ago. Why did you decide to pursue your career in a foreign country?
I remember this recently in another speech I had to, it came out of my heart. When I was studying, I saw many educated people live without freedom. They were used by wealthy business people, politicians in very bad way. So freedom of thinking was something that I always admire in my life. I remember in the temple learning the Kalama Sutra. So I believe freedom of thinking is a very important thing. So one time my father asked me, when I grow, what do you want to be? Instead of saying I want to be a doctor or something, I said, I want to stand by my feet. I do not want to be in my knees. This is why I am getting educated. So this is one reason in our country I didn't see the freedom that I want was there. And I selected to go outside and work. First time when I went out, I didn't go back for 4 years. It is not that I did have a threat, but I didn't have the freedom that I want to talk and do things. But I could serve my country, my family, my society, wherever you are. The world is a global village. You can do it any part of the world to your society.
If I ask like this, how do you rate the importance of social entrepreneurship and why do you rate it so?
More and more social entrepreneurship is becoming important. And for social entrepreneurship, first thing is you have to have a leadership qualities with you. What is the leadership quality that I talk about is having a good consciousness. Good consciousness. Now you will talk about leadership styles. You will talk about leadership classifications. Those are good for academics. Okay, but at the end, I remember in leadership, the best leadership is spiritual leadership. So in order to have that spiritual leadership in life, you have to have a very good consciousness. That have to be developed from your small age, your parents, your religion, your society that you live, which brings you to that. So I was brought up in that area, and then I saw there are a lot of social gaps in society. In failed states, it is high, the gaps are very high. So when the state failed to do something, social entrepreneurship becomes important. Some comes as with social mind, but he don't have a social mind, but he have a personal agenda. So that is why I said the consciousness and passion to the social entrepreneurship is important. And without social entrepreneurship today in failed societies, gaps cannot be closed, and those people have become vital in society. So I saw in every part of life there is certain gaps that you can always go and vibrate and give a helping hand and uplift life for people.
If I interrupt, so is that why you started Stafford Sri Lankan School in Doha? Only Sri Lankan school here?
Now, before starting the school, I had many other social work that I did. Now, social work and social entrepreneurship is something. At that time, I used to help prisoners. I used to help in people who do not know, ignorant of law. I used to help them. People who do not know, life guidance was my favorite to do. If anybody don't understand how to grow from where he is for the future, I give them certain guidelines. Life guidance is a good social work to do. Then my wife was a teacher, and she taught in American school, she taught it in my school. She had a long background, and I saw how important is the children's education for a society. And when I did also development economics, one lesson that I will never forget education and development of a country is parallel lines. If you develop education, you can develop a country. If you develop the child's education, you develop a house. This is how it goes. That is why many parents, they are ready to spend any amount of money on children. So while doing this social work, there was people who came to me. The consensus was built that we need to have a school of our own Sri Lankans. And they saw, for any reason, that I am the person who had to lead that. And I was prepared to take it. And I volunteered to do that social entrepreneurship.
Mr. Fonseca, what are the challenges you faced setting up the school and how did you overcome them?
Now the biggest challenge is to think of the model in work, any entrepreneurship when you come. The methodology is very important to set. So we took different methodologies. The how, first of all, whom you are going to work with. How do you compensate their financial contributions? How do you reward them? That we have to see on a first thing when you take it. When it comes to social entrepreneurship here, we went to the highest level, that the investor is not going to take anything as reward for that. This is the beginning of the whole social entrepreneurship. Some of them, they say those are social entrepreneurs. For example, in Sri Lanka, certain school who started entrepreneurs say, I have no social benefit from having this school, but they take. Here it is purely, our contribution was 100% without a reward. But we were discussing even with reward. That was the challenge. We want to select it, which one we want to take it. Today, looking back, we have a self-satisfaction of what we did more than anything else. And I am a happy man because we selected that model. Then the second challenge is to select right people to work with. It is, you can have a person coming and contributing money to the entrepreneurship that you are doing, but he might be a pain for the whole life of the organization. So you have to select the right people. So we are blessed to have good people around us. This is the second one. The third one is criticism. So each time you do something, there is people who criticize. The best way of replying them is to do another good thing. So moment that you do another thing, they criticize that, and you do another thing, and keep on adding something for them to criticize and we to be happy. And to people who always look at proactively, you can make them happy. And I can tell you, in my experience, I have less critics than I expect. I have more people in my favor who supports me, and I was able to keep multi-ethnic society with multi-religion together without any harm for last 15 years. This was the, when you say challenges, what is the achievement is the question. So as a leader, you should be an achiever. It's not just facing challenges, what you achieve that matters.
Stafford Sri Lankan School Doha is the most prominent Sri Lankan entity in Doha now. Looking at the future, what are your growth strategies for the school? 10 years down the lane, where do you wish the school to be in?
Now, we have with me few visionaries who have got together. We meet very often. Our contributions are purely voluntary. And we want to see, as you mentioned, the growth. And no growth can come for social entrepreneurship without the support of the society. And I remember advising a young man what Hitler said. First, you have to be powerful to give power to others. So we have become a strong element today. So we can grow from now. And today there are people who will come forward to help us when we want to grow. Now I can tell you, last 7 years, we were struggling at one time to get a land for expansion. With the Qatar government, we got the land already, and they had been a contributor. more than anything, if you take the biggest stakeholder or biggest contributor to the school is the one who has leased the premises for us, the present. It is a Qatari. He have never seen us. He have never come forward to us. But he have given the school with knowing that what we are doing on a very nominal rent. That is the highest contributors. This is the way people give us in aid to grow. And I am very positive with Qatar because education is one field this Qatar government is very concerned. And as they are concerned of education, we are concerned, the people who come to serve Qatar, they are concerned of their children. And we have selected those people, so they will always support that. So now the near future, my challenge is today the school can accommodate about 1,200. We want to build a new school which can cater to 2,000 people. And we see, we are talking about having geopolitics turbulence, but I am very strongly believe Qatar is a fantastic place and Qatar is very lucrative for Sri Lankans to come and work. And me, I am a believer in by 2020, we need a school that can cater for 2,000 people. There will be a lot of people coming to work in Qatar.
I think, Nishant, we had much information from Mr. Fonseca, right?
Let's continue our interview after a short break.
Well, in Mr. Kundu Fonseca, concerning of the school, I feel his leadership is based on his deep love for the school. His love, his commitment is also based on his love and passion for the school. I see him as a very generous leader, always willing to help those who are less fortunate, always willing to give a helping hand to teacher or to student who needs his help.
Yes, he's a great community leader. Not only a community leader, today he's a father for 1,000 plus Sri Lankan students who are studying at the Sri Lankan school.
Welcome back. Let's talk more about leadership qualities Mr. Fonseca has demonstrated when it comes to social development activities. Mr. Fonseca, tsunami was the most devastating natural disaster Sri Lanka has ever experienced. Such disasters demand leaders to emerge and take control of things. How did you react to that natural disaster?
Now, when we were talking about the school, I was an entrepreneur, and at the same time we were leading that society. I myself was the leader of the school, and I had resources, and there is no spoon worth if you don't serve it. When I saw the tsunami on the TV, I thought this is an opportunity for me to serve my country when they are in difficulty. The leadership is taking opportunities. We have to take good opportunities and we have to vibrate in the best and have a control of it. So what I did was, first I sent it 25 SMS to my friends on the 26th evening at about 7 o'clock saying 27th morning the school is open, it's a holiday period. I'm ready to collect and send it on my own expense to Sri Lanka if you're ready to send something for people who are in trouble. Next day morning, me and my wife, when we went to school, I found about 30-40 people already sorting out the items. And they themselves is volunteering to do things. Then by the day end, we had about 100 boxes ready to dispatch. And we called Sri Lankan Airlines and they volunteered to take to Sri Lanka. This was on the 27th. 27th, 28th, truckloads of items we sent it to Sri Lankan Airlines. By 31st of December, we were able to, it was like a relief center. We collected like 4 40-foot containers worth of things. We had people who came and put things on trucks and delivered there. They don't want to mention who they are. They came and contributed to the country. and this is amazing. And I had to lead there. Again, there was necessity, the leadership, to call people to help, to pack, bundle up things and send it on time to Sri Lanka. So this happened in a big way, and I'm very proud. Such a lot of things to send it to Sri Lanka when they need it. But I want to tell you something. There was one full container worth of things left in the school. We were not able to send it back. And then we don't know what to do with it because they asked not to send it anymore. Used clothes and all that. I sent it to camps here. They took it. In one day I was able to distribute everything. The Sri Lankans who are living here, they are doing a hell of a sacrifice. They are ready to wear the used clothes and send the good clothes to their parents and families in Sri Lanka. This is something that I learned. And what is the best value in leadership is you learn a lot about people. It's not about you teaching only people. Leadership is learning about people. You go to work with people, you learn. Otherwise you don't learn. You cannot, many fail in Sri Lanka because they are appointed leaders. They are not leaders who are given leadership. We need people who give leadership and learn and give leadership again and learn and give leadership. This is the type of people we need. And that to come, as I told you in the beginning of my interview, people should have the consciousness. Your good teachers, your good parents, your friends, your society, who build you with good conscience. So this amalgamation of all these good resources, qualities in life make good leadership. This is what the tsunami leadership also that I became successful.
Mr. Fonseca, also we came to know you are involved in assisting a couple of needy schools in Vaunia and Kotmale. So let us know what motivated you to involve in such social activities and what are the expectations as a leader?
In my life in Qatar, I learned something. Even you all selected me because I am a highlighted person. We always select highlighted people as leaders. We take highlighted people as social service people. Social service is happening in many levels. Leadership is something else. We are mixing up two different things. Now, if you see, you go in camps, you will find people helping more than us, the needy people, day to day. That is social service. It is in our blood as human race. But the leadership is something that I was talking about, okay?
Exactly.
Now, why I talk on this, we are a school, we need a lot of assistance. We ask society to help us. But with all that, I believe like that workers in industrial area helping others, we can help also other schools. So what we did was after the war, I gave the leadership with His Excellency Mr. Paduka was the ambassador. We managed to collect funds after the war in a place called Kovilkulam to build a school for Tamil people. Now 125 children are studying there. With the help of the army, we built it. We funded from here. I supervise it. I went many times. It is in the middle of the jungle. The students were studying under trees. Today I am very proud when I go, there is a school. I go every 8th of March and they wait to see me. So I'm proud of that. Then also the school have, Sri Lankan school in Qatar have Duke of Edinburgh program. We have selected Kotmale school. In Kotmale there is a place called Mahavalisaya Pasala. This is a small school which have about 45 children. And to make it cut short, we had been helping the school for last 6 years. It had been functioning for 12 years. Kotmale down Mahavalisaya distribute power to the country, but we were able to give electricity to that school last year. So this is how the society is. a man who works in a coal mine, the children cannot be shivering on a cold day. But in Sri Lanka, there are times people give electricity to the whole country. Their children don't have electricity. So we were able to bridge that situation. Today, right now, the time I'm talking, we are helping a school in Mathugama, which went underwater after the floods. So the Sri Lankan school in Qatar under my leadership, we are helping to bring the school to normal function within a period of 2 weeks. This is our target. We are working on that.
Mr. Fonseca, you are the group financial control of Mercury Group. So that brings us the question of effective utilization of time. So let us know how you manage your time leading so many activities.
Now, do you know what is the definition of wage? Definition of wage is the payment for sacrificing your leisure. Now, when it comes to leaders, if you want to lead to the society while doing your job, your work, you have still a leisure time. For a day, there is 24 hours. Good leaders sacrifice their leisure for leadership. That is number one. The second one, you should know to arrange your timing. Now in Islam, you have to, day end, you have to think, what did you do to earn? What did you receive? Did you receive it in justice? Like that in the morning when I get up, I plan my day. And in between, if something comes, I scale it out. Now I am the chief financial controller of this hotel. I am also the deputy general manager. Same time I am the group financial controller. I am the chairman of the Sri Lankan school and many other scopes I take. And I also, with my permission, my wife is the leader of the house.
Yeah.
Now this is how I have my commitments. But I must plan very well my time. And you have to always believe that you have time. If you don't believe that you have time, there is no time. If you take the time and the watch and all these are only scales. The time is here in your brain and heart. If you really match it to these two, the watch, you don't look at it at any time. So this is how you leaders have to manage your time. And you have to be honest. And you have to have a pace. And I advise any entrepreneurship who cares about dynamism and pace of work is the most important to have good results. So leadership is about dynamism and time management to do it in a pace and complete it fast. So you know, when you learn IT, you learn data packages. Today, slowly shrinking the data packages. A good leaders also should work like that. You have to minimize the time that you do things and do fast and switch from one thing to other. You don't live in one. I remember one of my professors asking me, when you finish reading a book, what do you do? You don't still go through that book, you read another book. This is the life. For me as a leader, leadership is developed by switching from one to the other and always thinking of doing something better. And I find time.
Sri Lanka is in need of leaders, good leaders. What are the most useful resources that you would recommend to anyone who wants to become a better leader?
First of all, leadership has one simple phenomenon that you have to remember. There is no leadership without followers. You have to have a community. Without that, there is no leadership. One single man, even Lord Buddha, after attaining the nirvana, he come back and preach about it. That is how he became also leader. The leadership you have to select, first of all, what kind of leadership that he can give, what knowledge he have for that. And the second one, no leadership can be developed unless you have the ability to articulate what you want to do. The multilingual ability is one very important thing in Sri Lanka. Because we have an English speaking, Tamil speaking and Sinhala speaking society. So English can be a good medium to bridge the differences. We should always that. The second one is what I said was the pace of doing things. You don't select people who have done one thing as a leader. You have to do a lot of things. He had to be a contributor, judged by not but what he say, but what you do. So today people should come and tell what you have done. And good leaders is good planners. They call it good thinkers and thinkers. We need people who do and think good. So today the problem is not about we don't have leaders. We don't know how to select our leaders.
What are the most pressing challenges that leaders are facing today, both in Sri Lankan and global context?
Now, there are three major problems even Stanford University have failed to find solutions. One is global warming. It is very sad even in France for the environment protection. Today the great leaders have no unity. This is something we have still not found agreed formula. The second one is insecurity. And today there is something called superiority complex in society. Even in the third one is poverty. Poverty in Sri Lanka, people don't talk. When poverty is concerned, it is not about food. Poverty is everywhere, even inside houses. Some of them are just squeezed together in many problems. The biggest poverty is a society going back in moral values. That is a poverty. Today Sri Lanka is suffering with that than food and drinks, more than housing. So I said insecurity is a problem, global warming is a problem. You know, we have in Sri Lanka in 1970s, we had around 48% of the land covered by jungle. Today only 21%. Today everybody is suffering. You take even the waste management. We didn't have a waste management system. So a lot of things are failing because wrong people in wrong places. If the leadership is proper in society, they know to select what to address first. We have selected leaders who have their personal agendas than common agendas for the country. So I wish world leaders, including in UN and also in Sri Lanka, even in Parliament, to have people who have common agendas for the country and the world than having personal agendas. This will change the whole scenario.
So, Nishant, now we have come to the end, but before complete our conversation, our discussion, I would like to ask you one more last question. Mr. Fonseca, what advice would you give to young leaders who would aspire to reach higher status in their professional life?
You know, I told my father one time, I have seen certain, when you say highest leader, he is well known, that is what highest. What is the use of doing more harm to the society and becoming highest known leader? I am advising people as per your size of wealth, as per size of your community, as per your ability, you do things and become popular. This is better. Unheard and die after doing good things is better than doing bad things and heard and die. There are many people, we consider as leaders, after their death we are unable to tell good about them. So my advice is, we are all inherited by our parents, teachers, society, some leadership qualities. Try to grow them all the time by reading good books, as I started my conversation, and listening to good people. Good listeners become good leaders. Then my advice is not to become very popular, but do good things. Consciousness is the number one. Righteousness is another thing. these are the things which all religions teach us. Never go against our basics. And all young people must understand now, the curve is going very badly on wrong way. This correction can be only done by the future generation. I could take your question as leadership is concerned. Last 30 years, the leadership was not the best that I have seen in my life. So we need the younger generation to do this correction action. You listen to today debates, they are talking about last 10 years is wrong. But believe me, last 30 years we have gone back. We have to save this earth. You know, there is a saying, God created the world, gave in big way for us to enjoy, but enjoy and leave for another generation, for them to live as well. So this is the message that I want to give.
Mr. Kumudi Fonseca, we received so many very important messages, important information. So on behalf of team for PIM MBA Qatar 2016 batch, I would like to wish you all the very best and thank you very much for your inspirational thoughts.
Thank you very much. Nice of you to call me.
We believe that we were able to bring best out of a leader by excellence.
A pride of Sri Lanka here in the state of Qatar. Thank you.
And goodbye.